and welcome to episode 28 of the Morgan Horse Source. Today, we will be talking with fellow youth council member, but also, more importantly, the 2022 AMHA Youth of the Year, Jordan Freitag. Jordan has been competing in Youth of the Year contest for 4 years and has only competed in Oklahoma in the Grand National Youth of the Year contest twice. In honor of the Morgan Grand National starting in less than 2 weeks, and also means our 2023 Grand National Youth Contest is getting underway, it seems to be the perfect way to kick things off. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the Youth of the Year contest, here's some information directly off the AMHA website. Youth of the Year contests are designed to recognize top achievers. Youth of the Year contest consists of 4 parts: a written exam, an oral presentation, a judging contest, and a horsemanship pattern. Each section of the contest is worth approximately 250 points. Many contests offer divisions for the lead line, walk trot, and junior-aged exhibitors. Expectations for these divisions are modified to be appropriate for the age of the contestants. Youth who win the senior division or who score over 800 points in the senior division at local contests qualify to compete for AMHA Youth of the Year at the Grand National and World Championship Morgan Horse Show in Oklahoma City. The winner of this prestigious title receives a unique prize package customized by the winner valued at $3,500. The reserve winner receives a unique prize package customized by the reserve winner valued at $1,500. Local and regional contests are open to youth of all ages, but only those aged 14 years and older can qualify to compete in Oklahoma. So, without further ado, hello, Jordan.
Hi.
And I will kick things off with my first question. When did you start competing in youth contest, and at what age?
So I think I started competing around 13, and then on and off from 13, I competed in them for like 4 or 5 years. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, what got you started in competing in youth contests?
Nobody like in particular, but I just remember going to a local show, Morgan Masterpiece, and seeing it being offered. And there's like older girls doing it, so I just thought it'd be a good way to get involved with the breed, and like get more experience within the horse industry and meet new people. So that's really what got me started.
Yeah, that's awesome. You just went for it. Okay, out of the 4 parts, horsemanship pattern, test, speech, and horse judging, which is the most challenging and which is your favorite? And if you could tell us a little bit why.
Yeah. So for me, the most challenging was always the pattern because it was something that I couldn't perfect. It was always like based on how my horse was feeling that day. So that was definitely the most challenging, and then memorizing it, like depending on how my horse was feeling that day, like it just couldn't be perfected no matter like what I did because it was like a team effort. And then everything else in the contest was just kind of me preparing on my own. So I always thought the pattern was the most difficult. And it was always the most stressful for my trainer, I know. But my favorite was definitely probably either the speech or the test, because the speech, I felt like I learned a lot from the speech. Like before competing in youth contests, I was always really shy, and the speech really got me like out of my shell and got me prepared for like personal speaking and a bit at a more high level. And then the test, I learned a lot from the test. I'm pre-vet, so like a lot of the things that I learned on the test, like I can now use in my classes and in my career. So those were my favorite. But yeah, the pattern was always the most challenging for me just because it was like a team effort and not me preparing.
Definitely. I'm the opposite. I think the pattern is the easiest, and the speech is like the one thing that I just would rather not do. Okay. What resource is your favorite to use to study? I'm assuming so to study for like the test, or even horse judging too.
Sure. So I think for me, studying for the test, I always found that like Quizlet or flashcards really helped me in going through them repetitively to memorize the stuff on the test because it's timed. So you have to be like fast with it. And then for judging, definitely just reading over the judging standards, like highlighting things because you need to like use that for reasons and stuff. And then like for the test also, there's like books that it lists that like the test is based off of. So like studying those books, going through each chapter, like vocab words, just really knowing your stuff. So when the test comes, you can like just crank it out and have extra time. If you're like unsure of a question, go back and kind of review that. But yeah, definitely Quizlet, flashcards, the 3 books that like the test is based on. And then for judging, the judging standards really is helpful.
Awesome. Yeah. Quizlet's definitely a lifesaver. Have you read all of the books that are recommended
Yeah, I think there's like
through all of them?
3 or 4. You can buy
Wow.
them online and then like just going through them. Because the tests are based from the books. So if you study the books, then you'll be good to go.
Wow. I'm not through all of them. And it's they're big books. Okay. What skills have you gained by competing in youth contests?
Sure. So like I said before, definitely the speech portion of the test has helped me with like communication and public speaking. Before I would have never like been able to get up in front of a crowd and like do a whole speech and like relay a message. So that has really helped. And then for like the judging part of things, I think like taking what I've learned through judging and like relaying it to like when you go in the show ring, like what the judges are looking for, and like kind of understanding that they each have their own opinion, but it's all based on the judging standards that like has helped me learn a lot. And then like for the test portion, a lot of it's horse based and animal science and vet, and I'm a pre-vet major, so like that has helped me a lot in my major. But the main thing I would say is the speech and the public speaking part of it.
That's
So
very cool. That helps with your pre-vet stuff. So very cool. All right. Have the youth contests help you in your confidence in the show ring or even in other areas of your equestrian career?
yeah, kind of. So like I said before, like going into the show ring, like before doing youth contest, I never knew what like the judge was looking for. And after studying the judging booklet thing
Judging
for
standard.
judging, yeah, judging standards, it's like made me like realize what the judge is looking for and why they may have placed this horse over this horse, or like kind of understanding what you can do better in the show ring. And then for like my equestrian career, just like it's made me a lot more confident in talking with other horse people because youth contests have like you learn a lot about like the language and like what people are looking for and like how to talk to horse people, stuff like that.
Definitely. Awesome. Um, okay, losing my track of my questions. Do you have any tips or tricks, tips and tricks for good preparation for the youth contests? Maybe a unique horse judging or a way to keep notes during horse judging or a way to memorize your speech?
The biggest thing I can think of is to prepare beforehand. So then like when you come to nationals, you're not like a big stress ball. And then for the speech, I think what helped me the most is to have it on note cards and just like practice it in front of the mirror, in the shower, when you're driving, like just continue to practice it. Like no matter if you have it memorized, that just keep reciting it so you feel prepared. Um, and then the other thing I think I found helpful is for studying, using flashcards and just preparing as much as you can. So when you get to the test, you're not like stressed, like, oh, I don't know this. Just like know that you've done all you can do to prepare. And then using the books as study resources helped me a lot because the tests are based on the books. So if you study the books, then you're going to be prepared. Um, And then for the horse judging part of it, the judging standards like really have helped because like for your reasonings, you're gonna need to know like the terms and like the reasons from the judging standards to base your placings on. So yeah.
Awesome. How did you feel leading up to the 2022 Grand National Youth of the Year contest? Were there things you were particularly nervous about, or were you pretty confident all the way through?
I would say I was a little nervous for my speech, but I was pretty confident because I'd studied. I knew that I knew the material for the test and the judging standards. But the speech, like I was like my biggest thing is like memorizing your speech. Like it takes time. So like no matter how much I practice, I was like, oh, if I get up in front of the judges, I'm gonna get nervous and like forget my speech. But like what really helped me with that was like in front of the mirror practicing like reciting your speech because it's like making eye contact and everything like that. So that was like the main thing I was nervous about because just like I thought that I would get up in front of the judges and just forget my whole speech. But I felt pretty prepared just because I had prepared and I knew that I had done what I needed to do. But yeah, all of it's really nerve-wracking because it's a big thing. So
What I don't know if this question is gonna make any sense, but which section of the youth contest did you spend the most time preparing for?
um, I would say the biggest, like the most time consuming was probably studying for the test, just because like the repetitiveness and like learning like all of the material because you don't know what's going to be on it. And then like next to that, probably the speech because I just kept reciting it to make sure I knew it because I knew that if I was prepared that I would do fine and there was nothing to be like stressed about. Um, yeah.
All right. How did it feel to become the 2022 Youth of the Year? And what did it mean to you?
It was like honestly a big surprise because I didn't think that I had won. I was just like in like shock. But it's been like a dream of mine and it was just amazing. Like I can't describe the feeling. It was just so cool. It was also like a surprise because I wasn't expecting it at all. But yeah, it was like the best feeling.
I feel like that's kind of how it goes with youth contests. You just, even if you know your individual results the night before, you just don't know how things will go.
Yeah.
So definitely understand the surprise aspect. Um, what advice would you give to youth competing this year in the Grand National Youth of the Year contest?
Probably to just have fun, but also prepare. Um, and memorize your speech. That's one of the main things that helped me, I think, in the contest. But yeah, just have fun because like the memories you'll look back on someday. Make friends, ask questions if you're not sure, and then just don't give up if it doesn't go right for you. There's always next year. And yeah, just prepare and memorize your speech and study and just have fun. It's not supposed to be stressful.
Right, that's good advice. Okay. What would you say to youth that are on the fence about competing in youth contests?
I would say to just go for it because I was on the fence about competing when I was younger and like look where it's brought me today. And just like keep trying, keep like trying your best and if it doesn't go right, just do it again and again. But yeah, if you're on the fence about competing, I would say do it because you're gonna meet people. It's gonna get you out of your comfort zone, bring you new opportunities and memories, and then it's just a great experience.
I agree. How would you say winning the contest last year has, or how would you say winning the contest last year has changed your life?
Um, well, it was just like a dream come true of mine, but I met a lot of new people and I've gained a lot of skills from the contest that have helped me today. And then just it's brought me a lot of new opportunities within the Morgan world and like meeting new people that are higher up and stuff like that. And then just like gaining the confidence from it has also helped me a lot and succeed in like other areas of my life. So
Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I have. If anyone has any questions that are here, you can drop them in the chat. You can unmute yourself, raise your digital hand. And while if anyone has any questions, if you have anything else you want to say about your experience winning last year or doing youth contests or just anything else you want to add. I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. But...
you're good. Yeah, the biggest advice I can give is just to prepare, study, memorize your speech. Yeah. And if you're on the fence about competing even at nationals, just go for it because it's such a good experience. And you don't even need a horse to go to nationals. So it gets you to nationals.
All right. Caroline says, what are the books that the tests are based on?
I
I
don't
have
know,
them behind me actually.
but I
So
know. Do you know what they are, Amelia?
yes. I don't know if they're the exact ones. There's okay. I so there's well there's the merit program with the merit badges. A lot of the questions are based off of that, the 5 merit badges books that you do. Then there's also these books that they recommend, The Complete Morgan Horse by Jeanne Mellon. Hopefully I said that right. And then
Jeannie Mellon.
Jeannie Mellon.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry. I've actually never said her name aloud. So and then there's The Horse. I believe this is one of the books. And the authors. And the Illustrated Veterinarian or Veterinary Encyclopedia for Horsemen. And that, I don't know who the author is. I don't even, but that's the book. So those are the 3 books that I'm aware of that they're based off of. And then there's also the just the rule book, the MHA rule book. And I feel like I'm missing a few things. They're based off of a lot.
If you wait 1 second, I'm pulling them up. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of studying, but like Jordan has said, you learn a lot. So
Okay. The Complete Morgan Horse by Jeannie Mellon, the Morgan Horse Judging Standards, the MHA Registration Rules, MHA Youth Horsemastership Program, which is now the Merit Program. We never changed that in the packet, sorry. The USEF Rulebook, The Horse, written by the authors that you showed earlier. There's a lot of them. The Illustrated Veterinary Encyclopedia for Horsemen, the Morgan Horse Magazine. Any articles for history are eligible, and the AMHA website.
there you go. Awesome. I hope that helps. Yeah. Any other questions? I think. And you said you competed at the Grand Nationals, well, in the youth contest twice. Is that how many times you also went with a horse, or did you just go
Just twice, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Only for your second time ever, and you won it. So it's pretty cool. So, all right. That's all I have. Guess we'll wrap it up here. Do you have
thank
anything
you.
else to say?
I don't think so. Just
Okay.
prepare, and have fun.
Have
Awesome.
fun.
Yes. Very important. Well, thank you guys. Thank you everyone for joining.